I never imagined that one day my life would take such an unexpected turn. One moment, I was a young woman with big dreams, determined to finish university, make my family proud, and build a future that reflected my hard work. But in an instant, everything changed. I was Amara. I was driven, ambitious, and ready to take on the world. But then something happened that I wasn't prepared for, a moment that would alter the course of my life. I found out I was pregnant. It wasn't planned. I had only been with Kofi, a classmate I met at university, for a short while. Our relationship had been brief, intense, full of passion, but not built to last. When I saw the test results, I felt the weight of it all crashing down on me. I was in shock. How could this happen to me? I had so many plans, so many things I wanted to do, and this wasn't part of them. In that moment, the world around me seemed to stop. I thought about everything I would have to give up: my education, my dreams of a career, the life I'd been working towards, and the first question I asked myself was, am I ready for this? But I didn't have an answer. All I had was fear and guilt, fear of the unknown, guilt because I wasn't sure how to face my family, my friends, or even myself. How would they react? What would they say? How could I bring a child into this world when I wasn't ready? I tried to talk to Kofi, but he wasn't responding. His calls were empty, his messages sparse. The distance between us grew, and the loneliness grew with it. I had to face this on my own. I had no choice. Weeks passed and I struggled. I fell behind in my classes. My grades started to slip. I couldn't focus. Every day I woke up trying to keep going, but it felt impossible. I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the will. My mind was consumed by thoughts of the future, and every decision seemed too heavy to make. It wasn't just the pregnancy, it was everything that came with it. The looks from my peers, the whispered conversations, the uncertainty. I felt like an outsider in my own life. My dreams, once so vivid, now seemed out of reach. One afternoon, I met with my best friend, Ngozi. She could see right through my facade. I had been trying to hide my pain, to pretend everything was okay, but Ngozi wasn't fooled. She pulled me aside and in her quiet way, she asked the question I had been avoiding. Amara, what are you going to do? She asked, her voice soft but firm. You don't have to do this alone. You need to face it. Don't hide from it. I looked at her, tears welling up in my eyes. What if I can't? What if I mess everything up? You won't mess everything up, she said, placing her hand on mine. You are stronger than you know. You just have to believe that. Take it one step at a time and talk to Kofi. He needs to know how you're feeling. He needs to step up. But I wasn't sure Kofi was ready to step up. I wasn't even sure if he was capable of it. I had to take charge of my own life no matter what. But I didn't know how to do that either. I decided to turn to someone older, someone wiser. Mama Efwa, an elder in our village, had always been a source of wisdom for me. I knew she would have answers, or at least give me something to hold on to. So I went to her one afternoon, carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. When I entered her home, she looked at me with kind eyes. She didn't ask questions right away. She simply invited me to sit with her, and we shared tea as she let me speak. I don't know what to do, I told her, my voice trembling. I feel like I failed myself. I don't know how to move forward. Mama Hefua listened carefully, then said softly, Amara, my dear, sometimes life gives us challenges that we are not prepared for, but challenges are not meant to break us. They are meant to shape us. You have strength inside you. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to keep moving forward. I sat there in silence, taking in her words. She wasn't offering me a simple solution. She was telling me that I didn't need to have it all figured out. I just needed to trust in myself, to trust that I had the strength to face whatever came next. And for the first time in weeks, I felt a spark of hope. I decided to tell my family. It was terrifying. My heart raced as I sat down with my parents. I knew they would be disappointed. I knew they had dreams for me, dreams that didn't involve raising a child before I finished my education. But when I finally told them, something unexpected happened. My mother looked at me with love, not anger. Amara, we are afraid for you, she said, but we will support you. You are not alone in this. You don't have to carry this burden by yourself. Those words, those words meant more to me than anything. My family was there for me. They didn't judge me. They didn't tell me what I should have done differently. They just embraced me
I
and
still
reminded
didn't
me
have
that
all
no
the
matter
answers,
what, I
but
was
I
not
felt
alone.
stronger.
I felt ready to face this. As the weeks passed, I found myself adjusting to the changes. It wasn't easy. Every day was a struggle, but I kept going. I went back to my studies. I worked harder than ever before. I faced my fears head on, and slowly, I started to see that this wasn't the end of my story. It was just a chapter. I also reached out to Kofi again. This time, when I found him, I wasn't angry. I wasn't desperate. I simply said, this is our child. You don't have to fix everything, but you do need to be here. And he was. Slowly, but he started to show up. He wasn't perfect, but he was trying. And that was enough. When graduation day came, I stood on that stage with my diploma in hand. I had made it. I had faced every challenge, every fear, every moment of doubt, and I had succeeded. Not because it was easy, but because I had the strength to keep going. Even when I didn't know where I was headed, as I looked at my child in my arms, I realized that this journey hadn't been what I expected, but it had made me who I was. It had taught me that we are not defined by our mistakes. We are defined by our ability to rise, to grow, to learn from the challenges life throws our way. So, if there's one thing I want you to take from this, it's this. Life will not always go the way you plan. It will throw obstacles your way, sometimes when you least expect it, but you are stronger than you know. You are more resilient than you realize, and even in the darkest moments, there is always a way forward. You have the power to shape your own story. I am living proof of that. No matter what comes your way, no matter how difficult, how unexpected, how impossible it seems, you have the strength inside you to face it. And just like me, you will rise.